Hello and welcome back to that LA. So in this piston kit, it comes with 3 in a red bag and 3 pistons in a blue bag. The reason for that is that you have an offset piston, a wrist pin, and it helps deal with excessive piston slap. Normally, I'm going to give you an example. If you have it directly in the middle, some engines tend to, with forged pistons, some engines tend to have a lot of piston slap when the engine is cold. So to help alleviate with that, and there's a few other reasons as well. So they do that. But most importantly, we have to make sure we're installing them on the right bank so we don't get that backwards. The next step that I'm going to take in this is I'm going to weigh all of them, and I'm going to cut out the weight like we did with the rods, the last video. If you haven't watched that last video, in the link down below, well, you can see the video right before and catch up to what we're doing. There's actually a lot more that brought us to this position. Without further ado, I'm going to start balancing my pistons, and then we're going to start installing it, and hopefully I can get this thing running again. So now I'm balancing the pistons. Same thing like the rods. I drew a little line, a circle, and I keep it into the concave. So I weighed all of them. 2 of them are 478, and the other one, they have 179, and 3 of them are 480. Okay, so I already went and I did all of these. This is the last one left to do. So if you put it on the scale, 478. Same thing with this. I took 2 grams out of this one, 478. So I was going to show you what a stock regular piston looks like. Right? I cut these parts over here, right there. Just shave them down till you get the right weight. So I'm going to be working on this one. They're all going to be the same, and then I'm going to continue from there. I'm going to start installing them. This just in. I almost blew up my motor before I even put it back together. I just got back an email. Finally, LN Engineering called me and explained to me how to use these oil squirters. Let me show you. All right, so this is what I've been doing, right? I took these oil squirters. Oh, jeez. I'm so upset because, like, and I'm happy because it didn't happen. But see, this has a little stopper up top, so I've been putting them this way. Right? I tap them in, and they feel kind of snug, right? Thank God they messaged me back in time before I got too far into it. I'm supposed to put them in from the other side, and this is supposed to stick out this way. I'm supposed to put it in this way. I'm supposed to see where the hole is, right there. And then with the punch it in. That makes sense. It just shows you. You never know. You never know. You gotta check. As much as you know, you could always mess up. So you gotta always, check yourself all the time. So basically, I put them in here. Basically, the crank has to come back out, which is not a big deal. I was getting ready to balance the pistons and then put them in. That would have been a disaster. That would have, oh my God. So I got to take this out, and I got to take 3 of the bearings out, tap them in, and then I can start from there. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to balancing the pistons. All right, so last night I left off with having this half done. Actually, a little thing that happened off video. I had to redo it today because I didn't like the silicone that I put on. The silicone that I bought for it wasn't good. Like, it was all bad. What? No, don't talk about it. Are you just nodding like this?
No, I'm not doing
These fucking women, man. So last night we dropped off with just installing the top half, the other half of the block. I just installed with my wife actually the last 3 pistons. So the short block is ready. Now I'm going to start installing the heads, and then we can start dressing it and putting all the rest and the oil pan and all of that stuff. All right, I hope you enjoyed up till now. I still got some more work to do. I know I skipped a lot of steps because I'm really eager to get this car running already. I miss driving it and all of that. I want to tell you about an issue that I had that was so frustrating. I started assembling this thing, and then at a certain point I noticed there's something missing in the block because there was missing holes, just open cavities inside the block. And so they're supposed to have plugs in them, and there's in the back there is a 90-degree elbow that's supposed to be in there, and it gets bolted in and missing. I called the company, the machine shop that did the work. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that, you know, when people are, you know, whatever. I'm not going to say anything about that really, but explain about what happened though. There's this little piece that they only have one in the nation, and only one dealership has it in Florida. So I called them, tried to overnight it over here, and incompetency. That's all I can say. It's just, I called a few times. I called them in the morning too, and then when I called again, and I called 3 times, and when I called the 3rd time, they said, oh, the person that was dealing with your order left for the day, and shipments don't go out, are already left out. So it's just so aggravating. So I fabricated a part, and I'll show you the pictures and the steps that I take. Like, I wasn't even gonna put in the video, but it's just like my wife was amping me up. She was at work, and she's like, oh, maybe you could make it. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna make it. And I started making it, and I send her pictures as my progress. I like did it out of like anger. It's funny, but it came out really good, and it should work fine and all that. So the next step right here. You just saw me install the rear main seal, and now I'm going to put the flywheel on, the flywheel on. I'm going to put it on the flywheel, and I'm going to put power to it and crank it. There's no spark plugs in it. I'm cranking it, and it's filled with oil, and I have the oil filter. Why do I do this now? There's no compression in the engine right now because the cylinders are open. All the the spark plugs are out. So there's no pressure holding back the pistons. I want to get the engine oiled up, so once it's in the car with a spark. Also, you could do it inside the car, but then you have to install the spark plugs inside the car. Right now it's a lot easier to do the spark plugs, and because the coil packs are very tight to get into this car because of where the turbos are. So it's easier to do it now. I'll crank it, and when you listen to the cranking, you could listen to it turns slow, and out of nowhere it just picks up the pace. It means it got oil, it has oil pressure, everything is good. Hopefully everything is good. And then I will take the flywheel off because there's a plug missing. Again, they didn't send me these things, so that's fine. The plug in the back is a plastic. It's a one-time use type of thing, but the other ones are steel, aluminum headed, you know, whatever. So those are a few challenges that I had to go through, and then I'm going to take the flywheel off just so I don't forget to put the plug in. Tomorrow it should be here. There's a plug in the front that I'm missing and one in the back so far. The other ones I was able to, you know, find stuff in the shop that will work. The same threading, same pitch, and same everything. So there's that. So now I'm going to set it up so we can again crank it and listen to it, prime it. It's called priming. But anyways, so just keep watching, and hopefully at the end of this video, this thing is gonna run. So exciting. All right, everything is hooked up. Power booster pack, my power probe. All I gotta push is the button, and it will hopefully crank. And if it does crank, I'm gonna keep it going for about 30 seconds and listen to the tone of the engine, see if it starts speeding up. And that's what we're looking for. And after 30 seconds, if it doesn't, we'll let it rest for a moment, and then we're gonna do it again. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. All right, that's good. Oh, looking for leaks, and I got leaks. All right, so you know the plug that's supposed to go in the front of the engine? It's leaked right out of it. So I got a little bit of an oil spill. I'll let it sit here, let it drain onto the floor, and then I'll clean it up. Ah, that sucks. All right, but we have oil pressure. So after I get that cleaned up, tomorrow I'll get the plugs, put in the plugs. I'll redo this test. And then we put it into the car. Oh, and then we need to put the transmission and then all that. So that's a job for tomorrow. All right, so everything's together. Transmission's on. I just finished my boost leak test on the engine side of it. Once we put the transmission and motor inside the car, I'm going to do another boost leak test with all the piping and intercoolers connected. But so far, the engine has no boost leaks. So if we ever have one, after installing, we know that the issue is somewhere else and we don't have to dig here. If there was a problem with here, I could easily get to it. That's why I do it now. I'm excited to get it in there and drive my car again. So without further ado, I'm going to start throwing it in there. All right, so I got the engine in. Wires, hoses, coolant hoses. I have not filled up with coolant. Haven't filled it up with power steering fluid. I just want to start it and see oil pressure, see if there's any leaks. Like a little bit more than minimum I installed. The intercoolers are also not installed. Just throttle body is on its own. The throttle body is not hooked up to anything. I just want to start it and just make sure everything is good before I put everything back together. And I'm expecting also a very slow, fast crank, like a normal crank, but it's going to crank for a long time because I have no fuel in the fuel lines and the high pressure pump is not primed yet. So it's gonna probably take some time. I'm just gonna turn on and turn off the key a few times. You hear the fuel pressure? Fuel pressure is starting to get, the line is filled up, but the pump needs to do its thing. What I want to see is oil pressure. I'm about to crank it right now. Long crank. I wanted to fire up there. Give it a second. Let's do this again. Healthy crank. It sounds healthy. Again. I'm gonna try to give it a little gas right now. Oil pressure is climbing slowly. I'm gonna shut it off. Oh, I'm gonna shut it off. I don't like that oil pressure. That oil pressure is not where I want it to be. Just checking for any crazy leaks of some sort. All right, let's try it again. Oh, there we go. It's shot up right there. Okay. Okay. Let's shut it off. I'm going to take a quick little inspection. That's exciting. It's a little nerve-wracking too, because you never know. Just trying to see if there's any puddles of oil, any drips or anything. That's great news. All right, so that's the end of this episode of That LA Garage. I started driving my car, put 200 miles on it. Everything is good so far. I did have some hiccups. I do mention and I do point out when I make mistakes and things of that sort. Really, just because it happens, you know. I didn't want to, hide, any mistakes that were had, like with the oil squirters and things of that sort. I'm excited just to put more miles on it. I'm not really beating on it too much. It's a baby engine now. And I'm excited. We got the whole winter to, break it in, and then summer we could start probably retuning it and going for more power again. So I'm just going to keep up on oil changes. The first oil change I'm going to give it is going to be at 500 miles. And then after that, I'm going to add 1,000 miles to every oil change. So next one will be at 1,500. And after that, I'll do 3,000 miles on that oil. And until I go up to 5,000. I don't like to go past 5,000. Even though I think the service manual says you could go up to 10,000 or 8,000 in these, but I drive it hard when not now, but when I'm going to, and it's cheap insurance. So that's that. So again, that's the end of this episode. We'll see what's coming up. I think we have the Taycan is coming up soon, where I gotta go push Luke to start working on that thing, because it's just body work, and then that car is ready to go, and that's it. So till next time, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping.